Hello friends, good evening. So this is the fourth video of my channel, and in this video I'll be talking about the kind of questions that I was asked in all my interviews. Basically, I appeared in three examinations. These are Civil Services Examination CSE, that is UPSC CSE, then WBCS, that is West Bengal State Civil Service Executive Examination, and thirdly Staff Selection Commission graduate level examinations. So I actually cleared all the written examinations and I appeared in the interviews of all these three, but somehow I could not clear the UPSC CSC examination, that is Civil Service Examination in UPSC, but I cleared the other two examinations. And as you know, as I have already told you, I got the first rank in West Bengal Civil Service Executive in 2006, and in SSC graduate level examinations, I got All India rank of 33. That was back in 2007. So basically, what were the questions asked to me in the interviews of these three examinations? So first, I'm coming from Staff Selection Commission. So there, I was the first question that I was asked was the what was my favorite subject. So I told them history is my favorite subject, and after that, they were asking me questions from mostly from history. So the first question that I can remember was something like, what is your favorite chapter in history? So after that, they asked me who was my favorite king, and after that, they had asked what was the impact of the 1857 revolution in the freedom struggle of India. And the next question they asked me was something like the achievements of Shamudragupta. What were the basic achievements of Shamudragupta? And then they asked me whether Gupta age was golden age or not. So basically, you can see, as I told them that my favorite subject was history during my preparations, and maybe the person was sitting in the board, and actually there were two persons sitting in the interview. I don't know, I mean, these days how many people sit in the interview, but my interview was taken by two individuals, and one I think was absent on that day. So I was interviewed by two individuals, one lady and one gent. So so maybe some of them, one of them was a specialist in history, so he liked my approach, that I history was my favorite subject. So they kept on asking me questions from history, and it was it was like kind of easy interview for me. And after that, they asked certain things, certain questions, two or three questions from current affairs. Then they asked, I can remember, what was pisciculture. So that was one question they asked. Then what was the technical term for stamp collection, that also they asked me. Then study of coin, what is that called, they did ask me. And there was a hurricane, I think, during that time, so they asked me one or two questions from that thing. Hurricane, I think Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Rita, that actually happened during that time. So they asked me questions from that, one or two questions like in which state it affected the most, something like that. So this was basically my interview in Staff Selection Commission. The interview went very well, and I secured the 33rd rank, All India rank in the Staff Selection Graduate Level Examination. And then after that, coming to WBCS Executive Examination. That was, oh, by the time, by the way, the first interview, I mean the Staff Selection Commission interview lasted for around, say, 25-30 minutes. And next, I'm coming to WBCS Executive. It actually lasted for nearly 50 minutes or so, and there were uh, five or six members. I cannot exactly remember, maybe five. There's one lady, and there were four other interviewers, and the chairman of the board was Mr. T.K. Bose, one of the renowned IS officers of West Bengal. So that interview was a bit lengthy, and that was something like that. I mean, the first question I was asked was, what is male chauvinism? So they asked me the question in English, and I answered that in English. So, that was WBCS, West Bengal Civil Service. So they were thinking that I might not be accustomed in Bengali as much as I was in English. So they asked me, after I could answer I could explain what is male chauvinism. They asked me to give a 5 minutes lecture on male chauvinism in Bengali. I did that, and after that they asked me if I can give an example of practical example of male chauvinism. So I think the answer that I gave, that actually impressed them a lot. I said, the person who takes the last meal at my own house is my mother, because she ensures that her husband takes his meal, his her sons takes his meal, her in-laws takes their meals, and after that she, whatever is left out, she makes she eats it, she keeps it for herself. So I cited this particular example as an example of classical example of male chauvinism, and that was, I think, quite liked by the interview board members, and I think that answer actually gave me the cutting edge. And after that, I mean, one of my on one of the interviewers, he asked me one question like, you are a man of letters, so what do I mean by this sentence that you are a man of letters? So actually I tried to answer that I am very much proficient in whatever I've done so far. I'm good in academics, maybe that has earned me that title. They started laughing and then said that I got later marks in all my subjects in Madhyamik, that is 10th standard examination in West Bengal. So I was a man of letters. So that was a question, numerous question that they asked. After that, one asked me how much did I get marks, how much did I get in mathematics in the 10th standard. So actually they could see my result in their folder. So they asked me that, and I had got 100 in mathematics. So they asked me one or two basic simple questions, including one mathematical puzzle. So I answered those things correctly, and after that they asked me about certain schemes about government. I remember Antodaya Anya Yojana, and then Indira Awas Yojana, something like this. And then they asked me one question: what are the schemes for the old age people in India? What are the social security schemes for the old age people in India? Then they asked me about the Domestic Violence Act, because I think that was in 2005 that it was enacted. So they asked me questions on that. They asked me one or two questions from RTI, because that was a very trending topic during those days. They asked me one or two questions from NREGA, because that was the time when NREGA was started. So it was enacted rather. And um, mm, and one thing I would like to mention, during the entire course of interview, one lady was there, and he was in a boot he was in a mood to interrupt me. I mean, whenever I was answering any question, she was rather, so she was like interrupting my answers, and she was telling that whatever I was telling, that was wrong. So that actually initially I was a bit stuck up. I could not know what to do or how to proceed. Then I thought myself that whoever is asking me the questions, I should ignore her, and I should be more focused towards my answer, towards the person who is actually asking me the questions. And I kept on telling them the answers. And even you may face this same scenario when you are trying to give the right answer, and someone from the board, he or she is interrupting you and telling you that whatever you are answering is not right. So this may happen. Overall, it lasted for nearly 50 minutes, as I already told. And after that, I mean, the interview concluded in a very positive note. So I was a bit sure that I really performed well in the interview. Now, coming to the interview where I actually failed, the civil service examination. So, civil service examination, they had asked me, the first question was like, what, do you love sports? I said yes. So then they did ask me, what is the sport that you love? I said, I love cricket, I love football, I love table tennis. So they asked me, have you ever played football? I said yes. So they asked me what, in which position I play football, and I said as a defender. So they actually, after that they asked me, I used to be very lanky kind of guy. I mean, I was very thin, tall and thin. So they asked me, with such physique, how do you defend your goal? Then I actually gave a witty answer. I can remember. I said, if Mahatma Gandhi, with such a physique, could defend the entire nation, why could not I, with my physique, could defend a goal? That was a, I think that clicked, but somehow I don't know how much satisfied they were with my answers after that, because after that one thing I forgot to tell. I was interviewed by the board headed by Miss Parveen Talha, an eminent officer. So she was like, but she was very liberal in her approach, and she was very friendly. The board, in fact, was very friendly. It is my mistake that I could not clear the examination. So, but the board was very cordial. So the next question that I was asked, how much was I proficient in current affairs? I said, or general knowledge. I said, I keep love to keep myself updated. And after that, there was a like bazaar round kind of things. I mean, they started asking me questions after questions. What is the capital of Canada? What is the capital of Australia? What is the capital of Finland? These kind of things. And I didn't even get the time, enough time to answer those questions. So I could like, they asked me 7 or 8 rapid fire questions, and I could answer maybe 3 or 4. And after that, they asked me whether I'm vegetarian or non-vegetarian. I said I'm actually non-vegetarian. Then they asked me, was I aware of the fact that street dog killings are taking place in Bangalore? I said I was, yes. And they asked me whether I support or not. So I said, I do not support. I do not support. So they asked me the reason why I do not support the killing of street dogs. Then I gave the answer. I talked about the rehabilitation, and after that they asked me, do I support the activities of PETA? I said, so you see the loop. They were actually dragging me towards the corner, and I was actually I was actually succumbing to that thing. I was actually surrendering myself. So I said, yes, I do support the activities of PETA. So then they asked me, then why do you take non-veg dishes? So I answered whatever came on my mind, and I don't think they were very much satisfied with that. So after that, they asked me 1 or 2 questions from current affairs, government schemes, as it happened in my WBCS exams as well. So they asked me about certain social security schemes. I think my answers were pretty good, but by the time what happened, I was like, mentally I was a bit cornered. I mean, I was not, I didn't have that positive spirit, because I knew something was not going right. So overall, it lasted for nearly 35 to 40 minutes, and I should say, uh, my interview was average, very average, I'd say. So it's coming to the fact, I don't have any idea how much did I score in staff selection commission, because we could not see the result. I mean, the score sheet. Only we could get to see the ranks. And in WCS executive, I got 160. So that was out of 200. Remember, out of 200, I got 160, which was extraordinary, I would say. And in IAS, that was a bit low. I got 130 out of 300, and it was very low, and it was one of the reasons I could not clear the examination. So here it is. I have shared almost all the questions, whatever is coming on my mind, whatever I can remember. I've shared with you. So these are the questions that I was asked in my interview. So hopefully this is going to help you. And just one suggestion for you: whatever is the question asked to you, whether you know it or not, just be in the positive frame of mind. Do not get bogged down by any kind of pressure during the interview. Just be focused. That is the thing. Thank you and all the best. Bye.